My name's Carol Nichols, and I want to tell you something about what I did with the Gospel of Thomas, which is, I'm going to illustrate it right here. It was a gospel that was found in 1945, and it was found in a Nag Hammadi library collection, which was in northern Egypt, and it took about another 30 years for people to translate it. The translation of that gospel was done by Marvin Meyer. In this particular case, I'm using his translation, and what I'm going to do is illustrate to you how the gospel came about. When it was found in 1945, it was found in a manuscript form like this, which is a Coptic novel, and the Coptic book, or not novel, but book, is hardbound, and it's made of papyrus, and it's wrapped in leather, and they were pretty decrepit at the time. So what I did is I came up with a completely new version of the gospel, but this version is done in 20th century art with calligraphy. The calligraphy I'm using is from a style which is either Greek uncial or it is made from italic, which is 11th century. The Greek uncial, I use a calligraphic stone and a piece of stick ink, and I load my brush like this, or my pen like this. Once I do, I can then write a letter. The uncial would look something like this, nice and smooth, big letters, and the italic looks more like this. And depending on what I did, whether to write a lot on a page, this one here, or very little on a page, I use either the italic or the uncial. So the entire gospel of over 5,000 words was written with calligraphic lettering. Because I'm a watercolorist and an illustrator, I also drew a lot of illustrations, some of which I did in sort of stencil form, cut them out, and then I could use a kind of spray technique with watercolor and made images on the paper. And if you lift those up, give it about a minute, you get an image, and that's what I used in the book. So that takes care of that. I also drew a lot of images. So I started out and I tried to figure out what kind of a script I should use, and that took a little time, and I had to spend a lot of time taking the various styles and seeing which one worked best. So here are some examples of some of the writing that I did, and I tried different layouts and different paper. There were several series of paper. I settled on calligraphic cream from Twin Rocker, which is really neat handmade paper, and I didn't go with a commercially made paper, in other words mill made, and I tried different kinds of handmade paper. I really like this stuff called 18th century laid. It has a nice rattle to it, and I wanted to use that, but a little bit hard to work with. The calligrapher's saving grace is basically two things, and they are a kneadable eraser for getting rid of your guidelines, and a razor blade. The razor blade here is used to lift up by curling the letters off the page, and then you take those, brush them off, and put a new letter on top. So these two things were used quite a lot when I made mistakes. To avoid making mistakes, what I tried to do, and this is a little bit difficult, was I had to do a complete layout. The layout began with using, my camera was set up on top of one of my displays. This is layout paper, and I drew it up and copied it myself, and I made an alphabet. This one here is Greek uncial, and I plugged it into my computer and printed out the entire gospel in this letter form so that I could measure how much space it would take. Then I cut all the gospel in little pieces. It has 114 sort of mini chapters, and kept moving them around and seeing where I would put each layout. This is one open page, and where I would put certain illustrations. It took quite a while, but I also used these. You notice everything's sort of scratched out here. I used these as I went along to let myself know when I had done a line, so I wouldn't do any letter skip or make some mistakes. As usual, I could do that if I don't pay very good attention. And eventually, what happened was I came up with this book. And this book is the, get my ink out of the way so I don't screw anything up. This book is the one original copy of the Gospel of Thomas, and it was done completely by hand. The book cover was made by me with help from Joanne Kluba in St. Louis of Paper Birds. And it is a Coptic binding, which means it doesn't have a spine, and you actually have to sew your gatherings. And I'll explain what a gathering is. You put a bunch of pages together and fold them, and then each one of these folds is called a gathering. When you put all those together, they are not contained with a spine, but merely by sewing and putting a couple of tabs in there. I use 24 karat gold leaf on about 65 of the illustrations, and the gold leaf ended up being quite a challenge when I actually made the book, because the gold tends to reflect the light, as you'll see from the sunshine here. And when I tried to photograph that, or my book designer tried to photograph that for publication, it tended to be too reflective, and it was difficult to get a true color value, but I did a pretty good job. All in all, it's about 90 pages long, and this original, which is in a clamshell case with a little lifter here, was eventually printed into a book at my expense, and I'll show you the book. And the book is here, finished, The Gospel of Thomas, and it is dedicated to Dr. John Sperry from Culver Stockton College. It has a really nice embossed cover, and that is a nice inlay and a beautiful jacket. And then you'll see on the back, there's my picture and Marvin Meyer's picture, my translator, wonderful man. And inside the book, you'll have, each one of the books is hand numbered. I only was able to print 1,000. And then what I do is I simply give a person an inscription. So this is personalized for them. I can even put in a little plaque for you if you like, that says who ordered the book and what they want me to say. So anyway, this is the Gospel of Thomas. I only have about 500 left, and I think that the printed version on very high quality paper really works well for people. And you'll notice here's the uncial, and then on an alternate page here's some italic. It's gotten really good reviews by very outstanding calligraphers. It did win an award, a judge's award at a local gallery, and it's online, and it's online at www.letterata, that's letterata.com. And I hope you come and get one and enjoy it, not only because of the artwork, which it is, and that's good, remarkable artwork, but also because of the fact that it's reviving and restoring to a sense of art a very good manuscript about the beginnings of Christianity. So thanks, hope you buy one, and enjoy.